So hey, this is Robin Waters from Tech.eu. I'm here with Louis from Simbound, a very interesting European startup that's been not making a lot of noise, but doing a lot of sales, which is even better. Louis, hi.
Hi.
Welcome to meet you. Nice to meet you. So can you tell us a little bit more about Simbound?
Yeah, sure. So Simbound is an educational technology startup. It teaches students how to do online marketing. It's an online simulation game. It's being used by universities at undergraduate and master's level in different kind of marketing programs around the world.
You said around the world. Does that mean you sell to universities, or do you sell to students directly?
We sell through universities, so the product gets to students as part of a curriculum, as part of a university program.
How much does it cost?
It's about 50 euros per license per student. We have a licensing model which utilizes software as a service as a licensing distribution model. And then,
How did you come up with this idea?
I just felt there is a need for more practical solutions when it comes to students learning about online commerce and online marketing. And there is something out there, like you could actually use the real stuff, like the real platforms and processes, but there are some risks to that, like real costs or just brand risks when you try out marketing operations that way.
Sure. So what's the hardest part about selling to universities and colleges?
It's just getting the message across. It's just making instructors aware of the possibility of using this kind of courseware tool. At the moment, we have a few professors, let's say the early adopters, but I think that the market is way bigger than what we are working with right now. So we feel that it's just a matter of communicating the value of this kind of solution.
How many people are you now, and where are you based?
Well, we're a distributed team, so it's me working with a developer in Romania. Plus, we have a few representatives around the world, which act as resellers of our solutions. So we have somebody in France, in Netherlands, in the States.
Nice. So in terms of product, what are you working on right now?
So we're trying to get this experience to as many people as possible. So we're working on full mobile integration. And then we are trying to add, like, let's say, hot subjects such as social media and community management and all that. So the market is sort of like indicating that there is a big need for that kind of solutions. So we're trying to build something which is useful and fun.
Now, online marketing and e-commerce is something that's also constantly changing and evolving. So how do you manage to keep your software up to date with all the latest developments?
So this is a challenge, and we think that obviously education should be quite up to date with what's happening in the real commercial world. But for now, like, we're focusing on just like the principles, like the basics, just trying to reduce marketing processes to workable chunks, so that students get a hand of the basic stuff. After that, once they get into real professional roles, or maybe they start their own startups, they can actually explore more and just see what kind of techniques or technologies are out there. Sorry.
And how many institutions are using the product right now?
I would say it's close to 100. I don't have an exact figure, but all in all, there's about 11,000 students to date which have used the platform.
It's quite impressive. And you've done all this without external funding, right?
Yes. So it's a bootstrapped company. We took out a bank loan. We had a governmental, helping whatever scheme for startups in Romania. That's where the company is originating from. Now we've moved here. We've moved to France, and that's basically it. So we had something like 30,000 euros seed financing to start with.
Nice. That's not a lot.
No, it's not a lot, but if you use it wisely, then you can do something of worth.
Exactly right. And where are most of your customers based? Is it Europe or is it the US? Is it changing?
It's constantly changing. For now, we have a lot of customers in the US for a commercial agreement that we have there with the company. It's a good business. It's a good contract for us. But then we would like to sort of like expand a bit in a different way. We'd like to pursue other markets. We have some movements in Asia as well. We have a few courses starting now in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in places like India. So it's a global concept. It has a lot of potential to be adopted anywhere, basically.
And on that note, do you think it's harder to build a company like that in Europe, or is it just easier?
I wouldn't know. I haven't tried to build companies out of Europe, but I would say that yes, it's probably a bit harder. Like the economies of scale are not just there yet. I'm thinking that in a few years it's going to get more and more intense in terms of how you can launch a company and then just spread your operations. But yeah, I have no problem, operating out of Europe. I think it's a good environment. There's a lot of talented, people here, and yeah, it's good business. Also, it's a good business. It's a good place for business.
And you mentioned earlier that you've already been approached by investors. But if someone would give you 10,000 or 10 million euros, like without any risk, it's just it's there. What would you do with that money? You spend it on products, on marketing, sales?
Yeah, I tend to prefer product before anything else. Like nowadays, as they say, product is marketing. But then, even when you do marketing, then you have to be a bit, let's say, conscious about how you're spending money and just like the overall, message that you're sending out. So, for example, with Simbound, we haven't sent out a newsletter close to 300 days because there was nothing there. We didn't have any features, we didn't have any events, nothing. So we felt that the right to have a conversation with the prospect or with the client should be respected, and in a place where everybody creates marketing, everybody creates content because it's so cheap, right? And so wicked is to build content marketing assets. We feel that you should not take that as a given, and just be very conscious about how you're talking and approaching clients and prospects.
Well said. Who do you consider your competition?
We have a few, let's say, similar concepts. Like for example, Google is doing something with the online marketing challenge for students. Then there are a few other simulations, but they don't really, approach this kind of e-marketing / e-commerce stuff. Obviously, like universities, they also have programs and they're developing courseware. But our solution is unique, so I think the authenticity of what we do speaks for the brand and for our users.
So when you talk about Simbound, you often refer to it as gaming, or at least gaming elements. Do you consider yourself an educational technology company, or more of a gaming company that sort of attacked education first and foremost?
Yeah, I would say like right at this moment we're more like an educational company, so we focus on the learning experience, the options that the instructors have, to monitor and to engage students with the materials that we create. But we would want to explore other markets, so we would want to use the knowledge that we have and also the new concepts that we're going to be building to actually test other markets. So for example, we think at this moment that we have an opportunity to allow students to create marketing for companies, which is I would say a unique concept again in the world of education and marketing. Why not? So the whole idea would revolve around companies which would be using Simbound, and then students would be creating the campaigns for them in Simbound, for their own later use.
Understood. Well, Louis, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, great bootstrapping story being written right out of Europe. Thank you, Louis, and check it out, Simbound.
Okay. Bye.